Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fantastic podcast starring your hosts, Justin, Damon, and Pops. Featuring today's guest, the legendary mustached ClassyPax. Woo! Yeah! All right! Yeah! All right! Woo! Yeah! Clapping!
Get hype!
Yes!
We did it!
We got him!
Thank you,
right.
Thank you. Professionalism for the win.
Yes. All right, guys.
Yes.
So ClassyPax, if you don't know, and how dare you if you don't, he is one of the what would you say? What would you say that the golden
Twitch. One of the best RPers I've ever seen.
The top tier of GTA RP.
Mm-hmm.
He does amazing voices, and now I'm sure he's blushing right now.
Great character work.
Great stream on
Classy,
Twitch.
he's an amazing role player, all right? He's great. You guys can't fucking hear him? Really? The alerts?
He's just laughing at how much we fucking suck at this.
It's fun.
You're our first guest, man.
I'm having a great time.
All right.
That's what's important, man. That's what's important.
All right. Well, yeah, sorry, you guys were doing this, and now we're doing post-production. We tried to do the intro 5 times here, but we finally got the audio to work.
Yeah.
People can hear him, and they can hear us.
He's our first guest.
The internet's amazing, isn't
We've never done, and we did so many audio checks yesterday, and it worked great.
That's what's so great is that we troubleshooted this shit yesterday for like an hour.
You're our first official
first.
guest, not a friend of the show.
Yeah.
Honored.
Yeah, the first one.
Oh man, main voyage. Oh my goodness.
And you screwed it up the first time, Classy. So balls in your court.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, the second you're on the second you're on the show, everything just breaks. I mean, I don't know.
Way too Canadian in here.
Canadian. That's right. Classy, you born and raised out there, huh?
Yeah, I was born and raised in the great tundras of the Great White North.
Over in
Me and
Canada.
Doug from Canada.
Calgary area?
Shelters together as young. Actually more near Edmonton, in between the two. Smaller town, kind of a retirement home.
Oh.
I always kind of see that area as the Midwest of Canada, which is like the most Midwest.
It's like the Texas of Canada.
There you go.
That's grandering it a little bit more than what it actually is. It's just oil populated and the least stereotypical, I think, of all the provinces. You don't hear the accent as much here as you can, like when you go to East Canada, then you get that real prominent, oh, how's it going? Oh yeah, for sure. You
Nova
get a little bit more of
Scotia.
that the farther. Yeah, exactly. You go over there, it's pretty thick over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Toronto and I was waiting to hear some of that stuff, but it was all French coming out of there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's French everywhere.
What's with the I hate the term normal Canadians, but how do they view the French Canadians?
That's political.
Ooh. Ain't getting into it.
Oh shit.
Not always the best. I mean, it's weird, the French Canadian thing. I think it's not as prominent as it was back in the '90s, of where it was just like separate already, you sons of bitches, and then the French were like nobody liked the French Canadians back then. Nowadays, not so much. It's not as bad. And it was just more like it's just that one cousin, It's like whatever, Jerry, just quiet, like just that guy in the corner. He's family, Is like he's there, but
French Canada.
French.
There's no Canada like French Canada.
Yeah, man. Well, being out there, now I get to feel like James Lipton. So being out there, when did video games come into play?
Let me think.
Where was your start?
What was life like growing up in Canada? ClassyPax.
A Super Nintendo by your side. Was it? What was the first system you ever had?
Pong.
Pong?
The cell phone app?
Pong?
Yeah, Pong, Atari.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Shit, man.
You could call it Atari, but literally what it was a Pong machine. I mean,
It was
that's
just
what it
Pong.
was.
Yeah.
Just Pong.
Yep.
Just Pong.
One button.
That's super retro.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
And it was a twist knob, right? It was just like a knob.
Yeah, just a knob. That's it. Nothing else.
Oh, snap.
Back in the day, we were easily entertained by turning knobs up and down, back and forth.
I know
It was that, or you go outside and just grabbed a stick and poked it into mud. I mean, like, the options were limited.
I took the mud and threw it at friends, but that was the next level.
Holy shnikes.
Typical Pops. Typical
That's-
Pops.
It's a whole new level of mud technology right there.
I was really going for
Lift
the
and
immersion.
throw.
Had wood finish on that thing. We were just talking about this actually. They're doing the same thing Nintendo's doing with the Super Nintendo. They're bringing it back.
Oh,
trying
really?
to re-release it. The
But
Atari
it's just extra tiny.
got wood on it.
Got wood.
Got
All we
wood.
know.
Huh.
Low lit wood lighting. I mean, that's all we know. And then a glowing Atari logo. That's literally the entire marketing scheme right now. Wood, dark, different.
Now,
Atari.
now with wood.
More wood than ever.
I'm sold. I'm getting it, guys. It's got more wood.
Oh my god. So you
It's got VR support.
so you started with the Atari. Ours was Sega Genesis. That was our first.
You guys started late.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started with Nintendo.
Yeah, we started. I remember that was the first one we had. We always used the neighbors' stuff.
Well, we had cousins who would, have the NES, right? And
Yeah.
we'd go over there and play Contra.
Oh,
And then
Contra
eventually-
was the shit.
I graduated up to be a big boy. I was allowed to have my own video game system, and Sega Genesis was my friend for a long time.
That twangy, that sound card on it, nice and twangy guitar sounds on the Genesis.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I think like one of my cousins let me borrow their Nintendo, and I just never gave it back. I was just
there
that
you
cousin
go.
that just took it.
Oh, you're that cousin.
I was that cousin, and so I started with Nintendo. But I think later on, like somebody got me a Sega Genesis, and I was hooked on that for like the longest time.
So Classy, after the Atari, would you say it was a ongoing love relationship with video games?
Well, after not beating the Pong Championships, I swore to give away gaming forever. The years went by, pondering and thinking, and someone approached me with a Nintendo 64 and Mario, and I was hooked again into the gaming of console.
You stayed with the times, kept moving forward, always
Yeah.
progressing.
Did you have siblings?
Yeah, I got two younger brothers.
Oh, big brother.
snap.
Yeah,
You got to show those little runs what's
Oh,
up.
shit.
And from what I hear, big brother. Is it true, Classy, that you're a very tall man?
Not the tallest. Actually.
What?
My youngest
Damn.
brother is 6'5".
Oh, the little
That's
big
a big
brother.
boy.
Yeah, but he's nothing but a pencil. He is 100 pounds soaking wet with a sweater on. I mean, he's nothing. He's just sticks in the wind.
Oh shit,
Damn.
I've been there.
So every time you see him, you got to show him what's what, crack him open your knee.
Get him in, nice little noogie. You know, he's 6'5". Jump up and grab him. Get him in the headlock.
The Slender
Yeah, it's
Man.
kind of funny
I'm still big bro.
because him and I look a lot alike. Actually, I'm a little heavier set compared to the he is. But then our middle brother looks nothing like us. He's got brown hair, curly, short. It's like the milkman's kid. We I swear we don't know where he came from genetically. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm sure there's no, middle brother syndrome with that.
Not at all. One of these things is not like the other. He sticks out like a sore thumb when it compares to the other two of us.
Any of your other siblings dabble with the streaming and the gaming at all?
Yeah, actually.
Oh,
well, not
snap.
streaming so
Really?
much, but my youngest brother, you know how we're doing this Four Winds thing and the Hobo Harry thing back in the day? He played the antagonist. My youngest brother, Jeffrey, he
Oh,
played Sloppy
snap.
Joe. You know how we were in the clothing store and we were kind of messing around? I did that Bill Cosby thing?
Yeah.
That was the exact ped and everything that my brother used for Sloppy Joe. And I was doing a Sloppy Joe impression because Sloppy Joe was basically Bill Cosby. But he was like, let's go get my pills. Let's get some pills. That was literally Sloppy Joe.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Some cutting edge hobo talk back then.
Sloppy Joe. Yeah, the hobo story that Classy's concocted, and we let us graciously throw in Jerry Curl into the mix.
I gave a little teeny chunk of a backstory, and like
He started
everything else completely changed.
A little tinder of a flame. We started it,
Right.
and now it's blown up into this huge. Dude, it's so fucking fun doing this hobo stuff.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna send you a picture in the Twitter feed. I mean, you saw that compass one, right? You can show audience.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
That thing's so stupid.
oh yeah.
Let me show you a pencil drawing that was sent to me of my character.
Yeah, so the hobo stuff we got going, folks, and for those wondering, we are, I guess, it's being set up right? But it's totally not scripted. I still see people saying that sometimes. It's still
That's
really
a running
think.
joke, by the
Is
way.
it a running joke?
That's a running joke. I mean, there was a day in my chat where I just blew up on the chat about the scripted thing, and because I was just yelling it randomly along with other words, apples, and just people, and just it's a running thing now. You'll see it just pop up, all caps scripted.
I was gonna say because people don't actually think all of it is scripted, right? Because
No.
that would be pretty tough to pull off.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. It's like when people yell at, like, how is that bad?
Scripted.
If anything, that's harder.
Yeah,
That's harder than actually doing just like off the cuff.
exactly.
If you're like, effort, planning, dialogue, writing, proceeded. And
How
going out
dare
and doing it
you?
like a performance? How dare you care about entertaining us? you
Pre-production?
asshole?
What's wrong with you?
It's like you're watching Game of Thrones live. Still.
Scripted is the definition of an iceberg. You only see the tip, but below the water is this massive, gargantuan amount of work that was put in, and you only see the tip. That's what happens on the stage. Everything behind the scenes takes like 10 times as long as what the actual production happens. So when people yell like scripted and stuff, it's just like, really? Like you just thank you. It's a compliment. Technically, it's like it's so good that you think it was planned. That's, if anything, that's a compliment.
Yeah, anything in improv where someone says, "Did you guys write that in advance?" That's got to be the best compliment in the world. It's like, dude, we just got together and we had 4 different minds just thinking alike at once.
Yeah,
That's how good
yeah.
it was.
Holy shit.
Exactly.
Well, now I need to ask, because we don't have too many, but is scripted kind of the only, is this like a year stream, like running joke thing? Is there any other running jokes within your stream we should know about?
Apples, the good meta thing, because of this GTRP, the community base for viewers has grown exponentially. People that usually never watched role play before GTA are now part of this big ensemble and watch. And the etiquette has been that's been the rockiest part. Is kind of figuring out what's good and what's bad and what technical and what certain technical terms are. So like the meta one, that was a big one. People would just randomly yell it without even knowing what the hell meta meant.
Right.
I mean, they would just yell it because they just like, how do you know that? Meta! Like really, dude, really. I mean, we broke it down between bad meta and good meta, and I explained to chat, like, bad meta is just using information outside of your character's knowledge to gain an advantage. That's bad meta. Good meta is like, for example, you stumble across a blood stain on the ground, but you can't see it, but it did happen there. Something that the game does not allow you. So you were fed information from the person you were playing with. So, for example, with Richard Oakes, I murdered a lady in this trail yard, in this this tunnel for a bridge, or for a train tunnel, and you obviously they couldn't see anything on the screen because the body, despawned or whatever. But I fed that information to Coolidge so that if he ever got there, he could see it and the chat could see it.
Right.
That's good meta, because that keeps the story moving forward, regardless of who comes out on top. That's good meta. That keeps the story moving forward, the big picture. And that's been a running joke too, because like good meta, bad meta, and people are just like, is it different? Like, yeah, it's just. I think the word meta is probably the wrong thing. There's probably a better word to use for good meta. There's probably just, I don't know. How would you? I don't know what we would call it. Story intel. I don't know what to call it.
Oh, weird.
Meta.
So you'd say bad meta is using information to pretty much win in roleplay.
Oh, just using outside information from either your chat or you watch someone else's stream, and your character does not know that, but you utilize it to come out on top or move forward. That's considered
And I think
bad meta.
a lot of viewers at home still don't understand that good roleplay is not about winning. I think you told us that. It's all about for the sake of the story, continuing the story, the experiences, the interactions, and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It is fun to have these back and forths, though, where there's not really winning. Like, we had a really funny interaction where we ran into Timac, and we just did this whole interaction where we kind of guided him through this hobo thing, and he's just like, what are you even talking about, dude? You're crazy. You're like, and that's just how it goes. Now if you'll excuse me. And I just got on his bike and started going. And so we have this running.
That's how you got the bike. That's how that went down.
Yeah, so now every time he sees every time he sees me, he's like, I didn't talk to you, and I go, gotta go. And then I like go through some neighborhood so he can't get me on his nice car.
So that's the bike story. You basically just laid down like this monologue with him, and that's it, and then took his bike.
Yeah,
Rode off in the sunset.
Like, well, see you around.
But instead of it even being like the singer, it's like, I want to win this thing. I'm getting that bike. I just wanted to be that drunk hobo who talked to you and then just got on your bike and went, what are you talking about? It's my bike. It's like he's so drunk he didn't even realize.
It's part of the fun.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's part of the fun. And some people have a little harder time realizing that. Like, you don't have to win to make it amazing.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, that's the beauty about this stuff. I mean, it's breaking apart that game mind that a lot of people have, that you try to, go from A to B to C and accomplish things.
Yeah. So
None of that exists here. None of that. I mean, for the longest time, in the early days of this GTRP, because so many roleplay games prior were based off survival games. We have, Ark, DayZ,
Rust.
What was the first one that you hopped into and were like, oh, this is a thing?
Worst. Probably the worst, but
Second Life.
Life is Feudal. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. But
Whoa,
Wow,
what is
that's going
this?
back.
I've never heard of that.
It is a cancerous freaking experience. I can't. There's so much. I don't even want to get into it. There's so much bad. There's a lot of good things happen there, but so much bad happened in that game as well. It was weird how that game worked. It made enemies of people. It was so strange. It was also early days for certain communities to role play in and stuff like that, but it was very immersive. It was a medieval game, a survival game, but it was one of the most hardcore survival games. Like, to live in that game was hard, like really hard.
I've never seen this game before. This is crazy.
You'd have to put days into it, days
Oh, wow.
of just work to make crops, to make a wall. It was stupid how much you had to do in that game to make a basic place.
And is it kind of like what's it called, DayZ in a way, because it's like you're putting in time? Is it like a permadeath kind of thing?
It's as hardcore as DayZ, but it's more around making settlements in medieval communities. But it's the same level as DayZ, of that really dark depth immersion that DayZ has. That DayZ has that when you go into it, it's like it's depression simulator. Like, welcome to life that is absolutely shitty. Enjoy. Like that's DayZ. Life is Feudal was the medieval version of that. You're muddy, you're poor, and you got worms. Go have fun. Grab rocks and try to make a house. Like, that's literally what Life is Feudal was. And the mentality of those old games was survival. And survival has like almost nothing to do with roleplay. Like, almost nothing. Unless, of course, it's the premises of the area. So when GTA was becoming a roleplay game, people were coding in food. Like, you had to eat. Like, what does a food bar and a water bar have to do with roleplay at all?
Yeah.
Like, ask yourself.
Really, really nothing.
Zero. Because with roleplay, like GTA roleplay is a great example. There is time warp of where if you're in a great roleplay interaction, you're living in real time, now time. It's standard time. But if you're out in the world grinding, for example, you're just doing postal runs, you make like $4,000 in 20 minutes. You don't do that in real life, but it speeds it up. When you're in jail for 20 minutes, that's 20 weeks or 20 months, whatever, you speed time up in those systems. So why in the hell would you add a food system that's on this hyper speed system of where every hour you need to eat?
Yeah.
And so let's say you're grinding for a little bit in the world, in that hyper time that hyper time area of where you're going around grabbing money, whatever, you eat to kind of keep that all makes sense. That feels organic. But then when you get into a role play scene of where I take a guy on a nature excursion for 2 hours, and it's real time. Why am I having to eat all the time during this excursion? Like,
Oh, hold on, guys.
Gotta woodpecker up now. Now let me have this hamburger real quick. No.
Let's all take out our trail mix.
Need a burger real quick.
You could just role play eating it. Like, well, what about you? Like, you want that's realistic. I'm like, well, then just role play. You don't literally have to eat in the game to role play eating. I mean, if you're in a bank heist and all of a sudden you're like sitting with the cops, and you're having this great showdown with the cops, back and forth pinging, and all of a sudden, all right, just hold on a second, I gotta eat a hot dog. No, it breaks the whole fucking moment.
You pass
It's
out
one more-
starving.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of a heist. Oh,
Yeah, I think
Exactly. It's just one more layer that it's just like pointless layering. So it's good to see that that's kind of going away, because GTA is, if I mean, you guys know, it was meant to do this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious. Someone just dropped something in the chat. So, what are your thoughts on relationship RP in game?
Oh, that's a really good question.
I'm curious
Okay.
what your philosophy is on that. Man, woman, or man and
ERP,
man.
No, I don't like erotic roleplay. That's a flat out no for me.
Is that even
That's
allowed?
That's kind of cringy.
It's allowed.
If it's not comedic,
I did it once. I went black screen and I played fireworks.
the truth comes out.
What happened?
How'd it go?
No. It was on stream. It was in Life is Feudal, and we were gonna because this snowballed. I'll tell you a story.
Oh, you snowballed
This
the
is
guy?
crazy.
This is like an ex-girlfriend story.
Oh, disgusting! And it had to be
Sorry,
like
this
medieval
snowballed
too,
in
right?
roleplay. Okay, hold on. So
Remove
I
my
was part of
bridges.
I was part of this villainous group called the Seven Hells, and I was playing this over-the-top Scottish person, Patty Philibert, but it'll fucking meet you. And I went around collecting taxes around the kingdom, while Jam Jar, Crom, Mr. Moon, they were all part of the Seven Hells as well. And Mr. Moon had this great idea. Let's open up a fucking brothel. Okay. All right, you can already see the red flags popping up, but Mr. Moon thought that nobody was ever going to do it. Women lined up to do it. I
Oh,
shit you
man.
not. And it was like,
Wow.
okay, we're going to hit some weird walls. And we built the building. We had the roof slide out. We started going around the world and oh, what a lovely sister. I have this wonderful brothel she can work in.
Oh my god.
So
Oof.
in the role play, I brought one of the girls back and like, nice tits. You know what? Tell you what, we have to go test out one of these new beds. Come with me, come. So basically, it was me to take her and test a bed before she got the job.
Oh,
So I went
man.
black screen, fireworks and stuff. But yeah.
And when we go black screen, we hear noises or just music or.
Nothing. You hear nothing but fireworks.
You hear classic
Just hear a little,
grunting.
That's there you go, right there. You do not have to have the sounds do not need to be there. Literally, if you're going
I
there.
think they're
why even go there?
necessary.
Like, why even go there? Like, you don't even have to go to erotic. You can have relationship RP without ever having to whip your digital dick out. Like, I mean, you never have to do that.
Your digital dick. What I came up with was like
/me rips up.
Exactly.
Peels out dick
Flops.
/ me.
flops out pud across the screen. Oh my god! But I like the idea that we came up with Jerry
Emo
Curl was
fishing.
the beans were intercourse, because I was like, how do we do this? Because he's supposed to be a ladies' man. What if he gets
Yeah.
someone there? What am I gonna do? Am I gonna have to black screen go? Oh yeah, and I was like, no, let's just make the beans. If the girl eats the beans, that's it. That's
Very symbolic. Very
that's
symbolic.
good.
Now I'm spent, girl. I can't watch you eat anymore.
You got a cigarette, girl, after eating all them beans.
That's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
If you want to even go that route, if you want to be that seductive guy, lead up to something that's not actually going into the bed sheets. I mean, like the way that's brilliant. But
What
if you want to do relationship role play, I got no problem with it. I mean, if anything, it sets up so much drama down the road, because eventually, either that character and that other character don't work out, or there's like a fight, or a third party comes in and destroys it. There's good there.
There's something to destroy, toy with.
If somebody gets
Yeah.
cucked a little bit by a Jerry Curl, then
Yeah.
there's some real
Exactly,
drama
like, so,
there.
Yeah, so let's say a certain, I don't know, Officer Andrews is pestered by a hobo, and his girlfriend Tora Hall is all of a sudden kind of like, who is this seductive hobo? And there's some good story there. I mean, like, it doesn't have to go erotic, but it's fun. It's fun. It's great to see that verbial mind game that you can play with each other over characters. It's cool. It's cool.
It gives so much depth to a characters too, because I mean, think about if your son or daughter died from a character in the game, you'd be like, "Fuck, I have a mortal nemesis now."
Yeah.
It adds so much depth to stuff.
Absolutely. That's where relationships, I think, is the pinnacle of relationships, and where you establish it, you grow it, and then it's settled, and then someone comes in or some other type of situation comes up and it tries to destroy it. That's just standard relationship structure. Like pretty much every love movie has that exact type of arc of where like, yeah, love, shit, oh no, broke up, back together again, the end. I mean, like that's the staple.
And speaking of movies, ClassyPax, I noticed your streams are rather cinematic. Do you care to elaborate on your influences? I'm curious. I'm curious. Do you have like favorite movies? How'd you get an eye for the rule of thirds and all this?
Self-taught.
Self-taught? That's cool.
I started with photography for paintball, and then I made it. Every hobby I've done artistically has come out in profit every time. And I did photography, and I started getting gigs for paintball tournaments and stuff. And then a good friend of mine
getting shot in the face and stuff.
Oh, it's surprisingly, no. There's a really good demand because not many people do it because no one wants to get shot in paintball. But I played a lot of paintball, so it was fine for me.
You can make that look so epic.
Yeah,
in slow motion.
That's a really cool idea.
Stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, high shutters. You can get the balls look like they're still in the air. It's so cool.
You ever get shot while you're out there?
Oh, all the time. If you want the good shots, you're gonna get shot.
If it were me, I would go after the guy taking the pictures.
Who's that guy in the middle of the camera?
He can't shoot me.
I'm sitting there with an $1,800 lens, and if you're that,
shoot the camera.
Like, I'm gonna get the camera guy. Like, fuck you, dude.
Shoot the camera.
Peanut.
I had to use like two UV filters on the top of the lens to protect the primary lens because sometimes every now and then a paintball would hit the lens and then like, it's just a pain in the ass to clean and everything.
Oh, I bet.
Luckily, it never breaks it. It's not enough to break it. But that's how I started off with that stuff. And then my good friend Sean, another paintball guy, went into school for film. He actually works in the film industry now. He works on Heartland. What else? Oh, what's that biker show? It's on TV. I always forget the name of it.
With the
Sons of Anarchy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He worked on that one as well.
Oh, dang.
He worked on a few movies. Fargo. He worked on Fargo.
Ooh, nice.
And during school, with their projects, I would come on and help with gaffing and grip work. Eventually, I became a camera B operator for a lot of their projects. Just self-taught myself. I kind of always dabbled in film, but I didn't know if I wanted to do it. And I learned that I didn't want to do it, but it was fun to do. It's like a side project thing, and I learned a lot about obviously continuity, rule of thirds, and just story structure, and what's good and what's bad. Obviously, when you hang out with people in the industry for a long time, like I met a lot of cool people. What's his name? He was you ever seen the movie Passchendaele? I don't know, probably maybe not. No. It was a World War I movie, and one of the guys who was an extra in it who runs Steadicams. He's a Steadicam camera operator. But he was an extra in the movie. I learned so much from him because he was on a lot of big production movies. And it was kind of cool to have like that insight into it all without actually ever committing financially and years of schooling and, quote unquote experience jobs where you get paid like nothing. I got to skip all that luckily and just did it for the passion. And that's where that comes from, I guess. And then the rest of it is literally just looking at the server, finding out what is missing, bringing that to the table and trying to make a story out of it. And the secret to make it interesting is not to think about yourself, but think about the big picture and who works with your character as well. That's very important. Dynamic of the characters.
Right.
So some high class prostitute would probably never talk with a hobo. All right, we can have an interaction, but we're not going to drag them into our world, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And what the people are really great about, even if their character, of course, would never do this, and you're kind of like, as a hobo, you really want to pull them into this thing and monologue for them and take them on a little journey. They're really good at like, you know what? My character would never do this. He'd be like, ew, no, dude, you're gross and you smell. I'm not hanging out with you. But like, they let you, there's that kind of fluff to let you push. No, come on, you gotta come. No, dude, I'm not going. No, come. Okay, jeez. It's like at least you get to keep it a little real, but also play along. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to just be like, no, I'm not playing with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There is a good tip. I mean, when it comes to just interactions and meeting people and server, absolutely, you want to definitely put the spotlight on them. They say their thing, put the spotlight on you. You say your things back, and just the typical back and forth. But when it comes to like if you're going for a bigger picture, a bigger story, some type of thing that your character's going to go through. You find those people in the world that really accent your character. A good example, I did this like closet gay, said he was tough guy named Lenny Wright. Had a thick lisp and stuff like that, and he ended up meeting this lady named Big Mama, and she kind of just took him under her wing and adopted her. And then I ended up meeting this guy named Reginald Bigsby, and he makes me feel more comfortable about potentially like him might being gay, but I am definitely closet gay, and then that becomes more comfortable. And then eventually he's dating Granny, and it just kind of it snowballed naturally, and it felt good because everybody that interacted with in that group felt right. It wasn't planned. It wasn't it just naturally happened. Met these people in the game, and just it snowballed like that.
What's the Colgate thing? I meant like I first tuned it, like Pops over here, he told me about GTRP, and I was like watching some people, I was like, I don't get it. Is it like Second Life? Like, I don't understand it. And then he put me on to you. He's like, check out ClassyPax and it'll make sense. And the first time I caught you was you were like some super Canadian guy, and you were with Bike Man, and you went up in the mountains. That's the first one I saw. And then the next time I kind of saw you was like the end of this Lenny guy. But I see everyone always say Colgate. What's Colgate?
Colgate stems from Big Mama's character, actually, in the first place. But I ended up embracing it as like this to represent that I'm tough. And I'm ready to accept like the punishments of doing crime. And Colgate was basically in prison for lubrication. They use Colgate to kind of lube it up before they go home. A minty fresh type of backdoor adventure. That's what Colgate is.
Kissably fresh.
Oh,
So I was getting arrested by Sheriff Eli, and I was just sitting there like acting tough. Like I'm fucking ready for this. You can't deny fucking Colgate. Eli's like, what did you just say? Colgate. Something my mama told me. It just snowballed from there because I went to prison, and so that's the Colgate thing. It was all about basically improvised lube.
Never look at Colgate the same way again.
Like that would burn.
Maybe that's what you want.
Burn it.
Hey, but at least you'd be fresh though.
Yikes.
Side effects may cause burn rash.
So what else I got here? Let's see here. You guys got anything here? What's on my notes here?
I got a good question, Classy.
You got Classy here. Ask me anything.
Who you got for the fight tonight?
Ooh.
The fight?
Yeah.
May.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, just you have to. It just makes sense.
I mean, I think Mayweather's gonna take it, but I'm like everybody else. I'm rooting for Conor McGregor just because he's such a likable guy.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
The underdog of the other karate kid part of you is like, yeah, do it, man.
Yeah, like, could you imagine?
The rational brain is like Mayweather. Like,
Yeah. Like, could you imagine the hype though if McGregor knocked out Mayweather? Like, everyone would just lose their shit.
Going crazy.
And their wallets. I mean, the amount of money that is like what is it, 25-1 or something?
Yes.
Like,
You're
making no money on this if you're betting Mayweather. But if you bet the other guy, like you're gonna come home a millionaire. Like it's crazy.
What's crazy is how much money they're both making. I think
Even if they lose,
how much is
Mayweather gets $100 million just to walk into the building.
Jeez, how much is McGregor getting?
I don't know. Probably not as much, but probably 50
millions.
Okay, I think we said this before, but I would jump in the ring and let a motherfucker knock me the fuck out for $50 million. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I'd walk in, just lay down. Just go to sleep as soon as the bell rings.
There's a good line of people who would love to just be in the ring with Mayweather right now, and so kudos on
Get me in there, I'll fucking show him.
Yeah, there's like a lot of people that they just think that they could just get that one lucky punch. That's why he walks around with like 6'7" bodyguards and stuff.
Hell yeah.
People just go, hey, there he is. I'm gonna try to knock his ass out right now.
How much I get? I knock him out right now. Yeah, you gonna be watching a fight? Or you just gonna be catching the highlight?
Probably gonna catch the highlight. I never watched fights live. Never.
I know. That's we were saying. I was like, I want to see the fight, but God, these first fights before the.
Yeah, I think the vast majority of people watching this fight have not seen a fight card from beginning to end ever.
the beginning fights. You know, they throw in these miscellaneous fighters. And
Yeah,
you're gonna
just
be
the
sitting there.
nobodies that are sparring and stuff like that.
I was like, God, I never watched boxing, so it's gonna be like, oh, this bobbing and weaving until the big freak show.
Yeah.
Everyone wants the freak show.
Yeah, it's just filler.
Let's see here. So when it came to streaming, you know, we came from the world of YouTube, making goofy videos and such, and we stumbled into Twitch doing party games. That's why there's so many of us. That's why it's a 3-man stream, a giant.
Look on you guys. I remember you were part of my earlier days on YouTube. Big fans of your work.
Oh snap!
Oh, wow.
It was,
Thank you.
a lot of us I remember. There's a clip of it somewhere. Pentaherth was like, Milton Pike. You know Milton Pike. He plays Chanel.
Yeah.
He was just perplexed. He had no idea who you were. And Pentaherth was like, yeah, but it blew his mind because Pentaherth in his youth, like he grew up watching your videos on YouTube, the Sticky Buddies, all back in the day,
so
and he's
funny.
just like, it was just so surreal. Tora, the girl that you're trying to break away from Andrew, she got into Twitch because of you guys.
Yeah, I know.
wow.
That's how she got into Twitch.
I watched her stream say that.
Beefly.
Yeah, absolutely.
She was the
Oh,
reason
wow.
she got into streaming.
I had no
Because of you
idea.
guys.
That's
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
Holy
Absolutely.
shit.
So she is just like, when she gets on screen, she's just like, yeah. But behind the scenes, she's pretty good at putting on her character, that very sexy ASMR Australian voice.
That voice,
Tora.
though.
But behind the scenes, she's just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
That's
Oh my
awesome.
god. Yeah, dude. The whole YouTube thing, it was such a freak accident making goofy videos. I was about 16, 17 and it blew up. And then eventually we were just like, hey, there's this Twitch thing. I remember Pops was like, yeah, it's always Pops'
It's
idea.
always
but
pops
you
with
should-
the great
you
ideas, and me and Justin go, no, that's stupid. Let's not do
that
that.
sounds stupid. And we jumped on and we are like, this is fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's like
There's another cool guy right there in chat, actually. Right
Oh,
there,
shit.
Named Tim Mack.
Oh,
who
I see
just
Tim Mack.
celebrated his 3-year anniversary of partnered in Twitch.
Tim
Absolutely.
Mack.
Shout out to Tim Mack.
What's going on, Tim Mack? I see you
What's
in
going on,
here.
man? Thanks for
See you
joining
in here,
us.
buddy. But yeah, man, switching over here. We were doing a lot of party games, and we switched over to the GTRP, and then we're just having fun with this, man. It's
My
so fucking
recommendation,
fun.
by the way.
Another
to the
Pops'
RP.
idea.
Yep.
But so you're thinking full time pretty soon. I know this is something you've been working up towards.
I am mustering the courage to go talk to my boss now. That's where I'm at right now, and letting him know that this is my last year. I've been there for almost 15 years.
Oh, man.
my entire
Wow.
adulthood has been at this company.
Mm-hmm.
Between dating, marriage, kids, everything, financially has been supported by this company. I've been there since my first years in a minus 40-degree weather in a tin shack, putting together metal cabinets, to a couple years later working in the shipping office, to a couple years later working in the main office and being a purchaser and being part of like the top 6 people in the company. I've been there for a long time, and it was never a passion job. Obviously, I'm more of a kinesthetic, creative guy. That's where my brain's always been, and to finally have this opportunity, I mean, given to me by Twitch and everyone out there, everyone in the chat and the audience, to give me $5, $9 or $10 or $25 a month and donate in bits. It's just, it was mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling. And the amount of support that you get to do this, it's a no-brainer. But at the same time, because I am a father of 2, house, mortgage, 2 cars, kids, right? You gotta be smart. You don't
Yeah.
throw away everything for your own ambitions and dreams. That's just not what you do. When you become a parent, life changes. It's no longer about you. It's about your family. That becomes priority. So with my wife still being on maternity leave, well, not even maternity leave. The second kid, we had the second kid too early. She didn't have enough time to get back on maternity, not enough hours to get maternity leave. So right now it's a 1-income house. I am the only income.
wow.
And yeah, so that's where the 2-job thing kind of started. It actually kind of grew. But so the minute she goes back to work, she's a civil engineer, smart girl. Man, she's stupid smart. And when she goes back to work doing engineering, that's where I'm gonna go full time, like balls to the wall. Show that I really care, like, because I just don't have enough time to show what I can do. Like right now, what you see is just that's what I can do in the free time I have. Give me a full day.
Damn.
It'll change.
I'm curious when you're saying full time. like, paint us a little picture. What is that? Is that RP? Do you have a set group of different games you'd have a cycle through? Would you like be checking out brand new games? Would it be all RP? Like, what kind of schedule are you thinking about when you're daydreaming about where's this gonna go?
Full time wouldn't mean live all the time. It would mean more time dedicated to keeping the quality higher.
Pre-production.
Pre-production.
Yes.
Pre-production. There are so many things I've wanted to do in so many stories, but I've never had the time to create the assets for it. I just didn't have enough downtime to make the videos for it, compile things, grab footage off the side, to have instead 3 hours a night in the evening, 3 to 4 hours, which I would just dedicate to streaming. And then some off days, I would record some stuff with other people. It would give me a chance of where I have an 8-hour day of where I can spend complete days doing nothing but pre-production.
Scripted. Writing out the script.
Yeah.
Not even, just capturing footage and making cool overlays and music ensembles. You guys know
that's so cool, man. That's what, when I saw your stream and you doing the music and the stuff, and then Richard Oakes, and then it was like that hit another eureka moment. Was
I
like,
remember
there's so much
Richard
you could
Oakes
do.
was a complete fucking what the hell out of left field. Complete left field. I did not expect that to happen.
That's what gave us the idea for all the pre-production stuff. I remember watching one of your streams with Justin and watching like you hit the music cues and stuff. It like blew Justin's mind. He's just like, holy shit.
Then
dude,
I was like,
can't
dude,
believe
you could do
guys are in that
flashbacks
business.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are in the business of audio. You understand that audio is actually more important than video. It is.
Yes.
And especially
Very
with
much
Twitch,
so.
more people listen to Twitch than they watch Twitch. A lot of people will tune in and not even watch what you're doing. They'll be studying or doing something else, but they'll have you in the background as audio.
Yep.
Audio is so stinking important. And if you can make they don't even have to like look at your screen. If you can just make it so immersive on every level, what you're saying, the dialogue, how you deliver it, the music in the background, what's going on. If you can give all those layers, it's like a radio show, or like a radio story show. You ever tune in, like, the War of the World stories or whatever on radio TV? It's the exact same thing. You can get them so immersed without even having to look at your screen. That's so important.
Yeah.
So important.
I saw you like walk around and do an inner monologue. I was like, oh shit, you can RP by yourself. Like, you can just keep this thing going. And it's interesting you saying you want to go full time and do the pre-production, because that's something like I'm trying to juggle all of our YouTube stuff, and then the GTRP has been too fun, so I've been like totally sucked in, like planning stuff and like making the hobo map, right? And all this, and it's like it's so fun,
I'm so
dude.
glad you guys have like done that with all that. I mean, it was just a bit of a jaw drop for me to realize. I mean, you're the first time I've ever had the opportunity of working with in roleplay that really showed they cared, not just by saying so, but by showing so. It was mind numbing for me to actually work with you guys. It's been such a treat, because I'll go into Discord and you send me like 6 audio files. Play these when you're in a certain moment. Just like, no one's ever done that in the history of me role playing. No one's ever done that.
Because I think that is the next level, where it's like, if you have maybe 1 or 2 people or a group or even more, or even server wide, and you have this character, and you're just like dropping people like scripted, but whatever. Like, all these audio clips. I'm sending Classy audio clips in case he's ever by himself and needs like wants a little filler.
They're so good. Now listen at these beats, and you even add the sound of a fire going off in the distance, like a burning garbage can full of fire. It's so good.
But even those, like, I kind of have an idea what Jerry would say, and then I kind of improv it. Like, when you hear it, it's very ad-libby, like, no, this happened and this happened. But it's like, if you could even do that server-wide, just drop these little GIFs for the other streamers, and then it's like, everyone's kind of, it's like you're giving everyone filler on your story from their character's perspective.
I brought this up once amongst the
level.
admins. I brought it up once amongst the admins of eventually with Family RP. And this is my pipe dream goal, but regardless of where it goes, it was my idea, and I'm not going to force it. But if people want to do it, it'd be awesome. Of where we can get to a point of where we have community meetings, we can sit down and say, who's all doing what? Where do you think it's weak? Let's try to improve it, and try to basically just help craft better all around role play for everybody. Just fix the weak chains in the role play story. What are you doing? What's up with you? What's your character up to? Do you want to try something else differently? I mean, and just see what we can craft together. We're not talking about like completely rewriting it. It's just to keep this very interesting role play happening all the time on the server. Something's always happening. It doesn't have to be dark. It doesn't have to be dramatic or over the top. It just feels more natural across the board, instead of this very every now and then. I mean, especially these days, with the kind of the waiting of this new server on the horizon. Eventually, once we get things figured out, everyone's been kind of more of just cruising around limbo mode, which I wish that didn't happen as much, but it's been happening a little bit. I wish people would just keep role playing, because the mechanics of the game don't matter. Just keep living the life of your character. I mean, it's obviously easier for hobos because we don't need anything really.
What about like server-wide events? Like I think you said Bernie might be like run like mayor type stuff.
Depending on the event, events are weird to me a little bit. Depending what the event is based around. So I know that eventually we're gonna have confirmed is a public server so that we can find the people who are not streamers.
Yes.
We can find those really diamond in the rough people that we know that don't stream, but they're really good role players.
That was a question I had for you, which was, we get asked, hey man, get me on the server. Hey man, get me on the... What is your message to the people that want to get on
the server? You earn your way on the server through role play.
Would it be wise to say, don't ask?
Don't ask. Love it.
Don't ask.
I get it. You want to get on and you feel like, okay, I'm going to message up Classy. I'm going to mess up the admin.
Yeah.
Please don't. That's not how you get on the server. It's a recommendation system. I'm not going to put you on. We're not going to put you on the server because you said you want to be on the server and how passionate you. I've had paragraphs upon paragraphs of people tell me about their characters and their ideas. That's great. I mean, cool. Thank you for that. But I need to see how you do. And the public server is going to be great because I'm going to go in there. I'm going to change my name. I'm going to go incognito and I'm going to find people and I'm going to role play and I'm going to corner them and just see what they're like.
Yeah, here's that.
Really
that's
good idea.
That's the message
idea.
to all you guys out there. Don't ask, because guess what? We're watching. You know what I mean? We're next to you. We're next to you.
We'll be there.
And that was one thing I really wanted to do with Classy and all these guys, Timac, all these guys at the top. I didn't want to ask. I never did. I didn't want to say, hey man, get me on. I said, all I said is, this thing's cool. I want to learn it. I want to earn our way up there by people saying, you guys check them out.
I feel like that's the right mentality.
To be fair, you're already top echelon, because what makes a top echelon RPer is literally just you care. You fucking care. That's all it takes. You care about the story. And if you show that, and you show that you care about your stream, you care about the quality, you care about the story, if you show that you just care, you're amazing. It's that simple. It's that simple.
Would you say it'd also be smart to have multiple characters, like going through?
Show some range?
Yeah, show your range.
I think that shows off the real
so
talent
important.
if you can do a couple different characters.
Yeah, so
we've had a couple people in the past, they got kind of gun-ho. I mean, obviously because of the explosive nature of all this GTA, it went from 0 to 1,000, like just so fast. And a lot of us are very fortunate, including myself, to be at the forefront of that during the earlier days, especially when it was only like 24-player pop and the server got big, Lyric got involved, and the server was getting DDoS like on a daily basis. We were a part of like just the crazy days.
Whoa.
And certain people that really benefit from it, their growth was insane, like absolutely insane. And they started to make their streams based off their one characters, branding themselves. I strongly recommend you don't do that. Because you're going to corner yourself eventually down the road if you just only roleplay one person, especially in this GTRP stuff, because we have the system in place of where police don't forget. That's so important. Your criminal record is infinite, so it's going to grow. When you do crimes, they're going to stack and stack and stack, and your criminal record becomes bigger. So I strongly recommend anybody to try to branch out, because I mean, imagine seeing let's say I completely branded my stream off a guy named Joe Schmuck, and Joe Schmuck was a repair mechanic guy, and that's all I ever did. Joe Schmuck, and I even changed my name on stream to Joe Schmuck, and that's all I did. And then eventually one day down the road, it's going to happen. Like everything, this game is going to die. something bigger and better is going to come out. That's just the industry we live in.
Yep.
And when that happens, and let's say the next great role play game is a Wild West or medieval, are we going to see Joe Schmuck, the repairman, fighting medieval times with crossbows? It's just. It's
He'd be
not
like,
gonna work.
now I'm a blacksmith.
I can fix anything. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Don't corner yourself. If anything, have at least 2 to 3 characters. You don't need more. You don't need to be this crazy jack of all trades. You do not. That's a big misconception. 1 or 2 characters. That's it.
And no, all you guys in the chat saying, "Oh, you're talking shit." It's not talking shit. I honestly, I want Classy to help give advice to these guys that
new people.
ask me, "How do I get in?"
Yeah.
Like, all I'm thinking is, well, I don't know, what did I kind of do, and I don't know if that helps, but I want people to know that there is a way to get in, and all it is these people are watching. And if I guess the best way is if you can get some kind of recognition. Like, if you're a character and you're getting love on other streams. You know what I mean? Be like, oh, that guy's fucking great. That guy's fucking great. I think you're pretty much already on your way. Like, it's just around the corner. People are watching.
Variety is refreshing. You don't have to become this crazy jack of all trades, but just don't completely encompass your stream around one character, one persona. The double-edged sword with persona streamers is that either you're iconic or it's not going to work. That's just the hard truth. If you're not Eli, Dr. Disrespect, if you're not one of those people that have such a well-rounded iconic persona character, it's going to be hard at certain times for you. That's just the nature of the beast. The hard truth of it.
And I wouldn't want that in a lot of ways, because we have a variety, and it's like, if I wanted to try something new, the diehard fans are always going to be like, bring back this person, bring back this person. I came for this person.
Yeah.
And that's gonna play its game out. That's a long game you got to play.
Yeah. Speaking of variety, Classy, I know you got a lot of characters. I was going to ask, which one was your favorite?
Personally, Richard Oakes now. Before Hobo Harry. Hobo Harry was hands down my favorite ever. I mean, every character that's my favorite. It always started off as let's just do this. And it just grew into this crazy story. Hobo Harry was my favorite for the longest time. And Richard Oakes took that after the latter of his story. By far, for sure.
What made Richard Oakes your favorite?
What he did to everyone else. Server wise.
Yeah.
I think that was my favorite part. It wasn't so much he wasn't very interesting as a individual. I don't know. I mean, he was cool in a sense, but it was pretty. Once you knew the character, it was just the way he spoke, and it was like he was the king of insinuation. Is what he really was.
But you know what? With your characters, you're able to hit so many notes. But dude, with Oakes, he might be a serious character with the horrible backstory and all this, but. Dude, there were times with Richard where I was dying laughing, and it was like a serious thing.
Oh, yeah.
But because the circumstances that even your character's I'm serious, and then they're like backdoor adventures, and people are like backdoor excursions. What are you talking?
Dick's backdoor adventures. Yeah.
Dick's backdoor, and then when I remember specifically, you're doing a nature excursion and you're with Danny and all those young kids, and you're like, look at this tree, all the rings. That's how you know how old it is. Look at the coloration. And then he jumped on the tree and was like, yeah, dude, I'm on top of the fucking tree. Fuck nature. I was laughing so hard. Then you play that music sting, and it's like, I think it becomes funny because you know that there's a guy in Canada on a keyboard pressing the button, and it's all live, and it's like, this is happening now, and he's trying to be a serial killer. So I couldn't help but laugh, and it's like, and then I see some people in chat like, I'm on the edge of my fucking seat, dude.
Yeah, man.
Cut the music.
Richard Oakes was 10 out of 10.
It's so good.
You know you're playing a good serial killer when you genuinely jump scare another streamer. That one time when you got Tora
behind her.
Oh my god, dude. That clip is legendary. It is legendary.
Love that clip.
I'm gonna frame that thing, man. That's a good one. That's a keeper there.
You can see her mouth, everything. The whole screen shakes and everything. So good.
Oh man, it's so good.
I think one of the best compliments that you can get, and I think that I get from Richard Oakes' storyline, is it feels like this could be an actual side quest or story in the actual GTA universe. And that's why it feels so immersive to people. It's like, this should be in the game, but this is just people role-playing.
NPCs. When people tell you, like, you could be like an NPC story. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
That's right up there with someone sending you a picture of them canceling their Netflix subscription. Like, that's how honoring that is.
That's
you know what
crazy.
I mean? Like, it's just like, holy shit, wow, thank you. Like, that just speaks so much. I don't know. When it comes to compliments, I think the biggest compliments I love are the fan art.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
I mean, don't ever get me wrong. I mean, tipping and donating and saying kind words, I love it all. Thank you so much. But when someone takes like hours of their free time and crafts you like this picture of your character, it just hits you. Like, right, like, holy shit, like someone, like, they're so passionate about what you're bringing to the table when you're storing your characters, and they sat there and they took their creative talents and made something for you out of just the kindness of their heart. It's just mind-boggling to me.
Oh
It's
yeah.
so fucking cool, man.
I know exactly
Love
what you mean.
fan art.
100%. It's our favorite too.
It's so fucking dope, dude. Yeah, TwitchCon. We're gonna see you there, right, bud? And get you a drink. Get you a drink.
I'm gonna get you guys a drink. You guys are gonna try some crazy stuff.
Oh yeah, with the scotch. We've been messing around with that Glenmorangie.
That's some good shit.
Entry level, man. That's entry level.
That's some nice nutty stuff.
What's the next
Isle
one?
of Islay. The Isle of Islay. Anything that
It
comes up
sounds
that Isle-
fancy. Sounds fancy.
No, it's just a location in
Islay.
Scotland. Every Scotch distillery that comes out of that Isle of Islay is what makes Scotch different from whiskey. It's the most peaty and smoky stuff you can get out there. And I'm gonna get you guys a glass of whatever comes from that island. I mean, you're gonna taste night and day. Yeah.
Oh boy,
You're gonna have a lot of fun up in Long Beach. It's gonna be really awesome.
Oh, it's gonna be dope.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna have to move up. I think you said Fittich was the next one. We gotta work our way up the ladder.
Fiddick is your
Fiddick.
Yeah, that's a staple. Yeah.
We're moving up next time. We're gonna have to get some of that, huh? Move up the ladder here.
Yeah, great, good.
Well, classy. It's been an hour. It's been a nice.
I got a quick
chat.
question.
We got more questions.
Just because I always get this. Your Joker is amazing.
Oh my god.
And when people saw it, they lost their shit. And we do dubs.
I understand that. Thank you. Hello, dear children. Hello. Questions away.
So good.
So awesome. We would die to have you as a Joker Batman dub.
It's so good.
Sure, why not?
We're doing. I'm actively going through and cutting up some old stuff, but right now we're in the middle of some old Street Fighter stuff, and then I like stopped all that. I was like, oh, I heard Mark Hamill. We're doing it. We're doing it.
Joker dub.
We're doing it. We have to.
Wonderful.
Holy fucking shit, dude!
Fucking fire Mark Hamill. Fuck that guy.
It's so good.
Should be fun.
Yeah, you could totally. I see that happening if the fucking Mark Hamill, like a Batman project comes up and he gets booted. Fucking ClassyPax jumping in there, boy. Oh yeah, that's another thing I always wanted to ask you. It probably might not even have a story. It might not even be that interesting. Just like my name, Jaboody. Why the name ClassyPax?
Yeah.
You see, Jaboody came from us being children playing Halo, going off of jumps in the game and going, Jaboody, woo.
Just nonsense.
Just a stupid little kid thing you would say.
Yep.
And then I would just use it as my gamer tag. And then when I made a YouTube channel, I just put it because I was like, whatever, I'm a dumb little 15-year-old.
It's a long story, technically, but it's not that interesting.
Oh, it sounds interesting to me now.
So a long time ago, I was known as PAX founder, and that name came from a mod that I was working on. I was the lead mod designer on it, called PAX Germania for Half-Life 1 engine. It was a game about World War II never ending, and the current year was 1967. That was the premises. And we were actually pretty good in development. We had gray boxing of maps. We had a lot of good concept illustration. We had some 3D models, and it was going well. I met some really cool people in the industry, like Jeff Clennings, who was a illustrator who worked also in schoolwork, but he worked on actually StarCraft Ghost. It's a game that never got released. It got canceled.
Oh,
he was one of the illustrators on that, and he was our lead artist on our game. Cool. My brother Jeffrey, my youngest brother, he went to game design school in Vancouver. That's how he met his wife. He doesn't do it anymore, but he was on the team as well as a map designer and texture artist, and a couple other people as well. and it was going along smoothly. We were featured on a couple little articles, nothing big, because the mod industry back then was kind of cool and niche, mod database and all that stuff back in the Half-Life 1 glory days. And unfortunately, when we were starting to like show a lot of interest toward it, this game came out on PlayStation called Killzone. And Killzone looked a shit ton like our game, like a shit ton like our game. They based the Hellgast off a very Germanistic look. Even their guns were very Germanistic, and it matched our soldiers almost uncannily. And a lot of our team was pissed. Like we couldn't do anything. We didn't copyright. I mean, we don't think they stole it. It was just bad timing.
They got to it first.
Shit.
And a lot of people lost interest, and it just snowballed downhill quite a bit, especially with mods back then. It was all free time or whatever, and that sort of broke apart. And it came back later on into like a potential RTS for this game called Men of War, Assault Squad. We were like, maybe we'll turn this into an RTS. It's a little easier to work with, and it's easier to modify. Nah, it didn't happen. So, but I kept that name. That became an online game. Online name, PAX Founder, the founder of PAX, PAX Germania. And one day I finally got into streaming, and I was really heavy into War Thunder back then and flight sims. I got sucked into that world.
Yeah, your setup is insane.
Yeah, I'm in a gaming cockpit. It's a flight cockpit, and it's a crotch-mounted joystick. And I got into flight sim games. War Thunder being used lightly. It's not really a flight sim, but it has a sim mode. And I became a streamer and partnered through War Thunder, doing flight sim stuff.
You got partnered through.
Wow, so you got partnered through that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's how I got partnered, was through flight sims. Very, very hard to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a niche community. Let me tell you about niche. It's definitely flight sim. I was known as PAX Founder 1 because PAX Founder was taken by myself, but I didn't realize it.
Who the fuck took my name?
Who's this asshole?
I took my own name. I didn't even realize it. And eventually, this is before you could change names on Twitch. I had 1,500 followers back then. I closed that account and started from scratch as ClassyPax. And through ClassyPax is when I got partnered through that account. And I went from 0 to back up to whatever, and I got a little bit into role play while becoming partner. Exactly the same month that I discovered role play through Life is Feudal was the same month that I got partnered through War Thunder from Flight Sim streaming.
Okay.
And once I became partnered, I slowly began the adventure of saying to myself, like, War Thunder was on the downfall. It was just the game. It's still there. I play it still, but it was no longer, it didn't have that gravitation like it did back in the day. And eventually I saw like this, I'm good at this stuff. I'm good at making immersion. Like with the War Thunder stuff and the streaming, I would get very immersive. I have like a goggle overlay. I would put on this like, radio, bigger one night out. I would do the whole ensemble with it and make it very immersive for the audience. And role play was exactly the same thing. It was putting on a show. So eventually I gravitated away from that over to role play and both. So flight sim and role play. And that was, I'll tell you, putting those two communities together is a very weird thing. You have one side that's like very historical, talking about Hitler and stuff, and then you got this very thespian side. So you take a bunch of people talking about Hitler lightly, and then a bunch of people thespians like coming. It's a clash of communities. Eventually, we figured it out, and it's smoothing out. And that's and the classy part was completely fucking random. I just had to pick something. I wanted to be just PAX. But then it's like, oh, it turns out that's not a good idea. Penny Arcade Expo. And that was another reason why I changed it, was because PAX Founder, it sounded like I was like pretending I was like the founder of Penny Arcade.
Is that Mike Krahulik?
I was getting a lot of PMs and messages saying like, hey man, they
Could
thought
I get
I was like the
tickets to
founder of
PAX,
fucking
please?
Penny Arcade.
Yeah. Okay, can I go to PAX,
Could I get some
please?
free tickets, please, PAX? We
So,
won't go.
yeah, I changed it just randomly to ClassyPax. Literally no thought to it. And branding wise, it was a good idea. It actually ended up working pretty good for my.
It does have a nice ring to it.
Oh well, shit! That had a much more interesting story than the Jaboody name.
This isn't an interesting story at all.
It turns out to be the most interesting
I didn't know
story
you were
ever.
It was just like, let's just do that.
I didn't know you were modding games. That's fucking crazy. I went to school for game design, so I did a lot of digital drawing in 2D, and then I dabbled in 3D. I wasn't really into 3D as much.
We're talking about back in the days where I was doing design docs on FTPs. Okay, so like
Oh man.
do you remember that? Do you remember those 3 fucking FTPs?
Yeah, I got one. I got one right here. Look at all that dust, boy. Back in the day.
There, remove it, re-upload it, version 0.0.0.27, and it's nothing but you just going through this crazy ass Excel and Word documents saying, adding and implementing and iterations and changes, and then picking priorities. That was my job. I was the overseer, and I did a little bit of map work. I mean, like, I miss it, but I don't.
Yeah, that's great. And with the flight sims, it just made me remember when we were young, we got so into trying to make a Gran Turismo whole setup, like legit.
Steering wheel,
We got the steering wheel and the pedal. Yeah, we had it all set up in the living rooms. Looks like, what the fuck is this? Like a car?
Just go drive a car.
I know. I'm sure.
Awesome.
I'm sure.
That's awesome.
I'm sure now it's probably so insane. And I was gonna say it's a shame that the Vive or the VR kind of makes you sick with the flying, but I feel like that'd be so dope.
That would be pretty
If they
dope.
got
Actually,
it down.
It doesn't. It depends on scaling. That's so important when it comes to the VR stuff. If the game is built around the VR, it works.
I think Elite
With
Dangerous
certain
does it
flight
pretty
sims,
well.
Better. Yes, ED is amazing.
Elite
is
Dangerous?
perfect. IL2 is pretty good because they it's another flight sim game. They built the games just to scale. War Thunder didn't. War Thunder, everything is built like a toy. And when you go into that world, it doesn't feel right. The ratios don't feel right. It's your brain can't process. You know VR, right? If your brain can't process it, you get nauseous real quickly.
Oh yeah. It's the moving without your leg.
Without your body
Yeah, you don't
moving.
feel your body, your legs moving.
Your brain's moving, but your body's
Throwing
not.
off your balance and all that.
That's why I was kind of bummed when VR came out. I got all into the Vive, and I was like, everything's a teleport game, but the driving, that stuff always felt kind of good. But
I've seen
Anything where you're sitting down
Yeah.
is good.
I've
right?
seen
Yeah,
some,
car games and stuff.
I've seen some Vive setups where they have the steering wheel and it's like a whole setup, and you see the guy driving and he's moving his head around like he's looking in his mirror, and it looks pretty intense. Like
Did you ever see the clip of a guy who took the Vive and modded GTA so that it was first person Vive, and he would use the controllers and like have his hand out the window with a gun in his hand?
I did that. I got into
Whoa.
that. I messed.
Did you?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
messed around with it. I got it to work through some like third party thing. I don't know so much about putting my hands up, but I was definitely first person GTA
it was
5.
the Oculus DK.
It was the DK. It was the development kit.
DK?
And it was so
Oh,
cool.
I remember that.
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
messing
we
around.
did do that.
We did the mods, and I put the flying mod in, where you could fly around like a superhero. And so I put it into first person mode, start running, press space, start flying, and it was the coolest thing. Flying around LA in VR. I had to show like my parents, like, holy fucking shit,
Dad.
Oh, I'm gonna be sick. But it was so
that
cool.
Vertigo, right? The minute you get off the ground, your stomach drops like this.
Dude. It was really fun though. I remember
Yeah, it
like
was
trying
really
to go
cool.
like follow the freeway and then go under like the freeway up ahead bridge and try to make these little narrow flyways, see if you can get through without dying. It was so fun actually.
Jumping off a building is
it's terrifying.
horrible.
That was pretty scary. You're standing on the edge alone.
Just dive bombing into
Yeah.
the street
Oh.
while flying. It was horrifying, but
Get all flustered and heated and start sweating, and you're looking over that edge, that sinking feeling.
did you ever stream with the VR while flying?
I could never with the Oculus. I don't know. I think the Oculus is a poor choice. I picked it, and I should have went with the damn Vive. I should have.
I don't know how
I
different
bought
they
an
are.
Oculus. Customizability when it comes to how you can change things. Like in the Vive, you can change how close the lenses are to your eyes. In the Oculus, you can't.
What?
So
Oh wow.
yeah. So it turns out that my roundish head with smaller nose does not fit an Oculus very well. If I had a narrow head with a big nose, oh my gosh, boom. Oculus is perfect for my eyes.
This Oculus
So
is
whenever
great.
Big schnoz necessary on the box.
If I had a lovely Jewish heritage,
I love the
is
Oculus.
perfect. I love it.
I don't know what everyone's complaining about.
I love super hot. It's kosher.
I hate to be that guy, but I love it.
It's super hot.
It's super hot. And what a great discount.
And so whenever I wore it, it was actually looking into a tunnel. It wasn't close enough. It was too far off from my
your
eyes.
peripheral would be coned off.
I could see the edges so easily in the Oculus. Obviously, the price change. Like when I saw it, I'm like, wow, the price difference is huge. And then I realized, like, okay, once you have the Oculus, like, okay, this is starting to like boil down. It has less support, less game fee. Like Steam, the Steam integration with Vive and Steam, it's a no-brainer. With Oculus and their own little store and their niche little corner, and then realizing that it wasn't as customizable on your face, it was like, oh fuck,
Thank you.
I'm also going to kick you while you're down. The Vive has a hack where you can play all the exclusive Oculus for free. So there's no interchangeability between
all
them.
on the wound.
I gave it away. I literally on a stream randomly. I was doing some type of celebration stream, and I didn't even announce it. I'm just like, we're gonna give away my Oculus today. I did it. We just did a raffle later on that day, and I packaged up my Oculus and shipped it out.
Oh man,
Enjoy.
Damn.
wow,
That's a nice giveaway.
damn.
Yeah, I couldn't get into it. I couldn't. I tried. I thought it would be great for what I do. It's hard to beat the track IR, which is that triangulation head movement. I turn my head on screen, it goes that direction. I can amplify it so it's not 1-to-1. I like just turn my head 20 degrees, turns my head in game 90 degrees. It's hard to beat. It's hard to beat.
Oh man. Well,
So I just gave up on the VR.
I got a quick question before we go. I know you did some
Another
modding
quick
for
question.
Overtime.
for Half-Life. How do you feel about it dying a death? I don't know if you heard
What,
about
the game?
Yeah,
The mod?
the writer
I saw-
released
I saw-
episode
yeah.
3. He just gave it away.
They just gave it away. I
wrote the
didn't
story
I haven't
away.
read it yet. Has anyone else read it? Have you read it?
I've read it. Yeah.
oh shit, I
Fuck,
didn't
I
read
haven't
it.
read it yet.
Oh, wow.
I haven't read it yet.
I didn't even
I
hear
have no
about that.
comment. No comment.
No comment.
I've been meaning to get to it. I want to get to it. On one hand, I'm pissed. Like I'm pissed because I know that in the back of my head that says shit. It's never coming out.
Yeah.
That's what my brain says.
Yeah.
Mine says, okay, there's a guy that's been working at Half-Life for like a freaking decade.
Yeah.
And he's been sitting on his scripts forever. And some meeting came, this is all assumption, obviously, but some meeting came up and they were all there and they all agreed. Some business executive, the suit tie meeting said, we're not going to make it anymore. We're going to focus on Team Fortress 97.
Hats,
And it's like-
more hats.
Exactly. More hats. Yeah, more hats. And then this guy is just like, I'm going to change all the names. I'm going to change all that shit. I'm going to put up the story that has been meaning to be told for half my fucking life. Let's put it up there on the internet that I'm not going to get sued for. That's what in the back of my brain is saying.
That's
It's like,
exactly what
fuck.
happened.
He's getting in trouble. right?
Damn it.
Yeah, so basically he changed all the names. Like it's something like this, like Goron Free Dude,
Foron Greedman.
and so like all
Gorgon.
like Alex's name's changed and all this. So people swapped all the names to the correct names and re-uploaded it, and you can read the story of
Oh,
episode 3,
man.
the way it
The
would
longest
end.
running meme is now dead.
So if you
It's,
look,
it's a sad day.
It's
It's
you
a
look
sad day,
at-
ladies and gentlemen.
if you look at the reviews for Dota 2 on Steam right now, they're getting flamed. They're like, this is the death of my favorite franchise. Fuck this game.
Let's take it out on Dota.
Fuck Dota. David.
Burn it down.
Everybody install Counter-Strike and Team Kill all day. Who's gonna get back at Valve?
We'll show them. We'll show Gaben.
Show them all. Fuck you, Gabe.
Well, Classy, it's been a fun chat. Sorry to bring you into overtime, but I can't help
got
it.
The free time.
Can't help it.
Yeah, thanks
Could
for
talk all
joining us,
day.
man.
Yeah, shout out.
Wow.
Give it up. Give it up,
for
Classy,
ClassyPax.
being our first guest, huh?
Honored to be the
Yeah.
first guest.
Holy
Honored.
shit. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find Classy, twitch.tv/ClassyPax. Follow him on Twitter at ClassyPax. The man, the myth, the legend in the flesh with the mustache. Y'all already know, and if you don't, how dare you? Get on it.
Facial hair on Twitter. It just makes sense.
Yeah, hit them up, boys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for the supports. We'll catch up with you
We
guys on
love ya.
Tuesday.
Yep.
We love you guys so much. All the support. Oh my God, people love you, Classy. Look at this. Look at all that
this
sugar.
love in the
love you
chat.
guys.
Look at all that
Don't-
sugar.
By the way, welcome to Roleplay. On behalf of everybody who's been doing this RP stuff for eons, it is an honor and a privilege to have a group of people who really, really care about roleplay and putting on a really good production show. And
shucks.
Oh, wow.
No. It's a rarity. So thank you so much for really showing that you care about this stuff, and you're going to put the effort forward because you have. And it's been a privilege to actually be in your presence in roleplay and being a part of stories with you guys, because you guys actually, you give it your all, and you show that this is a business along with a passion, both ends, where you show professionalism and talent.
God damn it, Classy. God damn it. Hey, man, thank you. God damn it. All right.
It's just truth.
It was beautiful.
Well, hey,
The best is yet to come.
It's true.
That's right.
you heard that?
Wait.
That's right.
Next week, guys, Selvic's back. 4-win story is going full swing.
Ooh, you don't want to miss it, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to miss the hobo trial.
Gary's going to have an amazing storyline. Selvic has such a cool character arc right now.
Guys, it's going to be legendary. And who knows what's going to happen after all this hobo stuff. But you know it's going to be good, all right? We'll see you guys next time, huh? All right, guys.
See you later.
I'll do some cool post-production stuff because music's all derpy. Bye, guys. Bye,
Later.
Classy.
Later.